Hello students of class 8. Today we will learn characteristics of sound from chapter sound. The characteristics of sound help us to identify the types of sound. The three characteristics of sounds are pitch, loudness and quality or timbre. Today we will learn about the characteristics of sound, pitch, loudness and quality, which depends on frequency and loudness of sound. What is pitch? Pitch is the characteristics of sound which help us to distinguish shrill and flat sound. Pitch depends on frequency of sound. When frequency is more, the sound is high pitch sound. When frequency is less, the sound is low pitch sound. And sound with high pitch is also called shrill sound. You know, the voice of child is shrill because the frequency of sound is more, whereas the adult voice is not so shrill because the frequency of adult person voice is less. Whistle, the sound from the whistle, also a shrill sound for its frequency. Twittering of the birds, also a shrill sound. Here you can see picture of whistle and birds twittering, and if you hear the sound of whistle like this, so it is a shrill sound, whereas the sound of twittering of birds, you listen here, it is also a shrill sound. So student, you can understand what is the difference between a shrill sound and a less shrill or flat sound. Next, we'll discuss about the high pitch and low pitch sound from the graph. So this is the graphical representation of high pitch and low pitch sound. The first figure is of low pitch sound and the second one is the picture or diagram of high pitch sound, and it is taken on, or the graph is plotted on 1 millisecond duration. So in 1 millisecond duration you can see there are 1, 2, 3 pulses or waveforms, whereas so 1, 2, 3 pulses, and here you can count. If I start from here, 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 pulses are there. So from this it is clear that number of pulses or waveform is more in the second figure, and that means frequency is more. And frequency, frequency means number of oscillation or number of vibration in per unit time. So here in 1 millisecond there are 3 pulses or 3 oscillation you can say, and in the second there are 7. So second one is high pitch sound. Next, loudness. Loudness is the characteristics of sound which creates a sensation to identify the loud sound and soft sound, and it is a relative because it varies from person to person and place to place. The loudness increases if we go towards the source, and loudness of the sound decreases if we go away from the source. Not only that, some person can hear the loud sound very much, some person cannot hear the loud sound properly. So it is relative, it varies from person to person, also place to place. You have seen when you move towards the loudspeaker box, you feel or you can sense the sound is more louder, strong, and when you go back or go away from the loudspeaker box, the loudness of the sound decreases. It depends on the amplitude of vibration, and loudness is proportional to the square of amplitude. Student, you very well know what is amplitude. Amplitude means the maximum displacement from its mean position. So when loudness increases, that means amplitude also increases. So amplitude increases, loudness increases, amplitude decreases, loudness decreases. Loudness is measured in decibel or phon. The sound from the loudspeaker, sound of roar of lion is a loud sound. The sound of traffic, sound of horn of vehicles also loud sound, where amplitude is small. So if we draw, now you learn one activity uh, to understand how does how does loudness depends on amplitude. For this, you need to take a metallic tumbler and a tablespoon. Strike the tablespoon gently on the brim of the tumbler. So with the tablespoon, you gently strike the. So with the spoon, strike the tumbler or the glass gently. And hear the sound produced. Now bang the spoon on the tumbler and hear the sound produced again. Is the sound louder when the tumbler is struck hard? Of course, it will be louder when it is being struck with a large force. Now, how can we understand the amplitude? Now, suspend a small thermocol ball touching the rim of the tumbler. Here, one thermocol ball is there which is suspended near the brim of the tumbler, that is vibrating. And when it is touched, you can see the thermocol ball displaced from its mean position, and the displacement of the ball is measured of the amplitude of vibration of the tumbler. Now strike the tumbler gently and then with the same force and compare the amplitude of vibration of the tumbler in two cases. In which case the amplitude is larger? You will see when the glass tumbler is struck hard with a spoon, then the thermocol ball shift from its position much more. That means displacement will be more than when it is being struck gently. The sound also differ. When it is struck gently, the sound is a feeble, and when it is struck hardly, the sound is louder. You can do this activity in your home and understand very well how does the loudness depends on amplitude. Next here we'll see some types of sound with its loudness. Whispering loudness is 20 decibel, and normal conversation loudness is 60 decibel, car 70 decibel, in traffic jam, heavy traffic 90 decibel when the vehicles honk, then it is 90 decibel. That means it is above our bearable range, so that time it become a noise. So when loudness is above 80 decibel, then it become a noise. Now let us compare the amplitude of sound, soft sound and louder sound. In first case, the amplitude is less than that of the second one. In second one, the maximum displacement or the amplitude is much more than that of the first one. So it is a louder sound and this one is the soft sound. But you can see, if we consider the same time, the number of pulses are same. So it is a sound, these are the sound of same frequency but a different amplitude. So this one is the louder sound, this one is the soft sound. Now sometimes there's a misconception we get that intensity and loudness are same, but actually intensity and loudness are not same. Intensity is the amount of energy crossing per unit area per unit time, whereas loudness is not the intensity, it is the sensation and it is relative. Intensity is measured in watt per meter square, where loudness is measured in decibel or phon. So never equal those two things, loudness and intensity. These are totally different. Next we learn about the characteristic quality or timbre. It is the characteristics of sound which help us to identify sound of different amplitude and frequency. For example, sound, suppose two friends are talking or pronouncing same word, but with the help of this quality or timbre you can easily identify that which friend is talking and from where the sound is coming. So these also help us to identify the different source of sound. For this quality of timbre, we can identify or distinguish different sources of sound. Suppose the tune played by guitar and the tune played by sitar, we can easily understand by closing our eyes which one is coming from guitar and which one is coming from the sitar. Here I am, one video is there. So you can easily understand the sound is coming from a guitar. Also, one more thing you can see here, while the strings are vibrating, each and every strings are vibrating in different way. Each and every strings are vibrating in different way, and they are producing different types of sound. Not only that, the string are vibrating with different frequency and loudness. You see here, number of pulses in unit time for different string is totally different, and also the amplitude is also different. So each string producing different sound. So student, I think it is very clear to you how does the characteristics of sound help us to identify different sources of sound. Today up to this much, and next day we will learn about audible and inaudible sound, noise, music. Thank you.